What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about money and the reason why I want to make a video on this. It's still in our lane with credit and debt, but a lot of people are finding it hard to make ends meet. People are reaching out to me, asking me questions about how do I get a business started? Do I need an LLC? How do I get a business loan, get business funding, get business credit? And they have all of this stuff is like coming into their awareness. And a lot of it is because of what, YouTube, there's all these things that can come to your, pop up on your screen, make money this way, make money that way, use your secret bank account to have access to your funds that your Social Security, when you were born, that money is sitting in there. Even though this video isn't about that, it all comes back to money. It all comes back to having resources to be able to do the things that you want. Money is a tool. Money is a tool, and I had to learn about money. Money is not really what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. Money is a tool to do the things that you want. Money needs to be circulated. It needs to come from one hand to another hand to another hand to another. Like $1 could equal in some communities $7. $1 circulating can support, 7 different businesses and 7 different families. What I have learned over the years, this is not something that is taught in school, is that if you really pay attention to how money works, you have you could change your whole life. You could change your whole life. And it's not about the money, it's about what you'll be able to do with the money. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't get started is that people are focused on the money that they can hold in their hand. Like that's where the focus is. And I can tell you, when I stopped focusing on the money that I could hold in my hand, and I started focusing on the money that's sitting right here, the idea. The idea is the money. The idea is where everything starts. And that's a lot of people miss that. Is that they'll say, I want to start a business and I got to have money. You got to have money to make money. And in essence, that is true, but you got to have more ideas to make more money. When you have more ideas, money will come to you. Money will come to you in different ways. It'll come to you either in more ideas. It'll come to you with people offering you money to invest in what you're doing, or you will just all of a sudden come upon the money to start what you're trying to start. That's actually what happened to my wife and I in 1990. We came up with an idea, which was to a free advertising magazine. And at that time, that was new then, just like the internet is new now. Facebook, all that stuff is new. There was a time where free publications didn't exist. 1990 was like an explosion. Before that, it used to be like this, I think my mom used to call it like the stamp sheet or something like that. And that was with the daily newspaper. But in 1990, personal computers were, expanding, and opportunities and software became available. And when my wife and I saw that opportunity, and we had no education in that, no education in publishing at all. And we saw that opportunity and the idea, like, what if we did this for the small business people? What would it be? How much money could we make? And at that time, we were like, if we can make $6,000 a month, we were rich. That's all we needed. And really, that was because our awareness was like, what kind of money are we making now? I was barely making any money in 1990. Barely any money. Like I was working at a security guard at a college, and I was making $364.84 every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. And for us to start that business, we needed to get a computer that was $2,500. So how are we going to be able to do that? The mind. We thought like the ideas. And when we started having that idea in our mind on what we were going to do, things came our way. One way that we made money is we delivered telephone books. I still remember the picture to this day. Our kids were sitting in the back of the truck, and we had it filled with telephone books. I'm sorry, the minivan, and it was filled with telephone books, and we were going out there delivering them door to door so we can make this money to be able to get that computer. And I was working third shift from 8 p.m. at night to 4 a.m. in the morning. And then we would work on our business. And my wife was working a factory job. Like we were crossing each other because I had to watch the kids. And then she was working some hours so we can make extra money. And we were living in a 1-bedroom studio. At that time, we only had 2 kids at that time. In a 1-bedroom studio. And from what I didn't know, what I'm about to tell you is something that we accidentally did, and I think the reason why it accidentally happened is because we both had open minds. We were on the same page. But let me tell you, this is what happened to where I was able to quit that job at the age of 20. Was able to quit that security guard job within 8 months before I even turned 21. I turned 21 in August. So from that day, 8 months later, was gone from that job. And this is what happened. Pay attention to this, because you can watch all the YouTube videos and all the stuff out there. Not to say that they're not good, but I'm gonna tell you, you're sitting here listening to a person who has done it, has millions of dollars in cash, millions of dollars in assets. I'm sharing my knowledge with you. I hope you really do appreciate this, because this is like, if I go back in time, I'm able to pick myself up now. And you know how they had those movies where they're like, they have the older you and the younger you, and you're telling yourself, this is what you need to do right now. It's like, this is the shortcut, and you will listen to yourself, because yourself has to know, because this is you in the future. Well, this is what I would tell myself. The first thing is you make that decision. And I talked about that earlier in the video. Make the decision. The decision is like it's locked in. Like you make a decision to buy that car. You make a decision to marry this individual. You make a decision to do this. It has to be a solid, like this, solid decision. It's melted to you. You can't even pull it apart anymore. That decision is made. There's no turning back. The bridge has burnt behind you. The bridge is burnt behind you. And then the other thing, when that decision means you're going to see it through failure or whatever. And I'm going to tell you, you won't fail. The business may look different in the end, but you will not fail. You're either going to learn and be successful in that business, or you're going to learn and it's going to morph into something else that you're going to do, but you're going to be successful. And then the other thing is, you need to pick one. Don't do multiple business. Now it's like drop ship this, make your own Turo business, make some money from that, make some money from this, a perfume line, a lipstick line, or clothing line, t-shirts, all this stuff. No, pick one. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You pick the one, and you're going to make that successful. And when that is successful, you're going to graduate to other businesses. We made our publishing company successful. That business is still going to this day. It's about to turn 33 years old. 33-year-old business. How many people do you know have a 33-year-old business that they're running? We went from that business to starting the business that was the dream of my wife, which was an Arabian horse business. We did that business from, I believe it was 1994 all the way to 2003. Made millions of dollars in that business. Ended up at one point we were on a huge farm. Well, we had one farm. It grew out of that one. Moved to another farm. Had like 30 something horses at that one. But we took what we learned from one business and that success. We both concentrated on that success. Then we went to something that she wanted to do, like fully. I was fully invested in her dream, and we still had our business, but we had that business so in a routine of what needed to be done that really I was only working 2 days a week on that business. And then we were able to get employees and sales reps, and they were handling the business, and I was doing my part and she was doing her part. Actually, she was doing 100% the horse business, and I was managing and doing the publishing business. The second thing that I've learned over time is that you need to make a decision. I think it's a lot easier now because it's actually out there, like YouTube creators, TikTok creators, Facebook creators. Are you a creator or are you a worker? Now, what I mean by that, and I've learned that I'm a creator. I create, and then I need to have workers do the daily day-to-day activities. My wife is like more of a worker type person. She likes to be involved. We have a retail store. She likes to be in there. I'm just not. I'm more of like, I want to create this, step back, and let the workers do the business. So you need to figure out if you're a creator or if you're a worker. You will know if you are a worker or a creator. A creator is someone who they can create, like you have all of these ideas come to your mind, but when it comes to doing the day-to-day work, you have this feeling that comes over you like, I should not be doing that. It's someone else should be doing that part. And also a creator is someone who knows how to bring the business. Like, I know how to bring a whole bunch of people to see what we had to offer and let them do the work. That's why some of the times one of the biggest problems I see with a YouTube creator is that they know how to get people to watch the videos. They know how to get people to engage, all of that stuff, but they don't know how to monetize their business. I saw one guy, he was complaining. He had over 75 million views, and he had made hardly any money. And that was because he's very good at being a creator, but he's not good at the other side of the business. So when you find out what side you are, then you need to know, okay, I'm going to be the creator. That means I need to be prepared to get people to monetize my business. Or if you're the worker, you need to get someone on the other side to be the creator. And with some businesses, that's the person who advertises. That's why one of the things that we've done for businesses is we were the creator for those businesses. We created people to come call your number. And after the internet got going, visit your website, generate leads for you to call. I'm the creator for that for a lot of businesses. And so when it came to my businesses, I create that, but then I needed to get more staff on working. And that's what I've put in place with all of my businesses. This is what I have. The next part is you need to figure out the system of your business. How do I make money? And then that system needs to be ran over and over and over and over and over again. When we figured out how to make money consistently with our publishing business, we just kept doing it, and doing it. Funny thing about it is people would come to us. I would have relatives come and say, you need to do this so you can get that business off the ground. And I'm like, the businesses, I appreciate, the info because I'm always open to new ideas. But when I was like, do you even know that this business is very well off the ground? There was a time where my family, and this will happen to you, when you become successful in business, either their family members are going to say, well, we knew you were going to be successful because you're smart, or they just won't say anything. They just won't say nothing. That's what happened to me is like, people will say, well, are you still working on that business? Making these crazy comments, um, because I don't show off stuff that I have. When family members visit, they're like, "Oh man!" And the thing about it is, my family is in a different state. I'm from Texas, so family come to visit me. They have to come all the way to Wisconsin, and I'm my only family here. And when they come, they're like, "You have this house, this pool, these office buildings. This is your business, or you work at this business?" No, this is your business. Um, when before Miss Terry passed away, and my wife made me stop doing it, but she would always go and get me coffee. I didn't tell her to do it. She just felt like that was something that she wanted to do. And she was an older, I think it was because of the generation she came from. Like, secretaries would get their boss coffee. And I would appreciate it. And because of the generation I grew up in, it was like, the secretary to go get you coffee and bring it to you. But my wife, when she saw that happen, she was like, "Don't go get him coffee. He can go get his own coffee." But they were like, you know, you have secretary, you got this, and then go visit my other company at the other location. This is yours. This is your store. This is your retail. Yes, I've built this. I just didn't like blow it out there and blab about it. But for all of those businesses, there's a system. There's a different way that each of them make money. And once I would sit there as the creator and be like, does that work? Does that work? Does that work? I'm not I don't care about getting embarrassed on things that I try. I don't care. If it did that work? No. Did that work? Man, that was crazy. Why did you do that? It doesn't matter. Because what I'm doing as a creator is I'm trying to figure out what system will work. And once I get that system to work, I just keep that system going. I just keep that system going for all of our businesses, even businesses that I ended up stopping in the past. Because at one point I was in network marketing. My wife and I were regional directors with a company called XL Communications. We were earning over $4,000 per week with that business, and we made a system where we had a location, and our reps that came in, they had to do this, 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 and this, or we didn't want you to be part of our organization. And you got to do it that way. And the way that I learned it from that is I learned from my upline. This is the system you need to put in place. Sometimes you can ask people, how does that business work? Other times you have to test and do it. So once you find out that system, because it's the reason why I put a lot of emphasis on finding the system, because you got to get out of that 9 to 5 job. If you are working a 9 to 5 job, why wouldn't you put your all into that 9 to 5 job? If you like that 9 to 5 job, if you're starting a business because you don't want to be in that 9 to 5 job, then you need to start putting a system in place to get out of that 9 to 5 job. It took 8 months for me to leave my 9 to 5 job back in 1990. And I've never had a job where I worked for someone again ever since. It was March of 1990 was when I was done working for anyone. March of 1990. And really, I could have quit a lot earlier, but I was afraid to quit. I was just, what if I quit? What if it doesn't work? You got to get that out of your mind. You have to, it's going to work. If you put your all into it, it will work, or it'll morph into something that'll work. Now, next thing is you got to continue to level up your awareness. This is where I'm at now. It's like ideas come to me from other people or from what I see with people that are more successful in money. Everyone has it. Really, all of us are the same success. It's our level of awareness to get to experience that level of success. That's where where I'm at now. And there's certain levels that everyone has a level that they want to get to. You just because someone's at a certain level doesn't mean that that's where you have to be successful. No, you pick your level and you get to that level of awareness, and then you just know that you do want to keep knowing what it would take to get to different levels, but that doesn't mean you have to do that You know, you could be content and happy where you're at. The one thing you don't want to do is to continue chasing money. What I do with business is like, for me, is like, you could say I make the businesses for retirement accounts. Like I have my retirement accounts in stock and I have my retirement accounts with business. I could either cash out, sell, or keep them as income. So I want to share something with you that I believe is very important. And when I learned of this, it's in this book, Laws of Success. This is that thick one. Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill. And this is a success formula that I put in place. And when you're growing your business, especially when you understand that you have to be either a creator or the worker for your business, this here is going to help you kind of manage through that, because that means that you're going to have other people on your team. And I'm going to first read this to you, and then I'm going to tell you how I actually implemented this and how I was like, would just, tell people that they can't work for my business anymore. And because this is the Credit Repair Shop channel, I will give you the example. I'm not going to mention any names, but I'll give you an example of how I utilize this information here to actually recycle and have a whole new staff in place. So in here, this is page 1019 of the Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. This is the complete. You won't see this in a lot of places. You won't see this one in a lot of places. It says here, once you've placed yourself under the influence, let me just make sure we got the right part. Okay, yeah. So the universal law of cosmic habit force. This is the chapter, page 1019. Once you have placed yourself under the influence of the proper associates is your team, who is going to be on your team. You must adopt some definite plan by which to attain the object of the alliance and proceed to put that plan into action. So you start your business, you have your plan, you're going to put it into action. We got our team. Now, the plan may be a composite plan created by the joint efforts of all the members of the mastermind group, or it could be yourself. If one plan proves to be unsound and inadequate, that's where I was talking about, where you might have to change it or morph into something else. It must be revised or replaced by others until a plan is found that will work. But there must be no change in the purpose of the alliance. So the alliance has its purpose, which is to be successful at this business. But it can change, it can morph, but it must, the purpose must stay the same, but the way, like when I was telling you, you test this, you test this, you test this. See, a lot of people are afraid because they're like, if I fail doing this, people are going to say, oh, you're a failure. Or you might say you're a failure. Like you're afraid to even go to that, to go through that process, because you're like, how are people going to look at me if I fail? Or how am I going to even look at myself if I fail? You can't worry about that. So the next thing, then you must remove yourself from the range of influence of every person in every circumstance that has even a slight tendency that can cause you to feel inferior or incapable of attaining the object of your purpose. What they mean by that, and what Napoleon Hill means by this, and this is very important because when I understood this, it made a huge difference. But it's a thin line. You can't have people in your business that is against your business. Like you can't have someone coming in there saying, hey, you can't do this. You can't be successful with that. And the problem with that is that could even be family members. That could even be your spouse. That could even be your spouse. Like they're telling you, who do you think you are? You can't be successful doing this. Why are you trying to do that? We used to have people that would tell my wife and I that, and we had to get away from those individuals. I tell the story about our neighbor. When we were in that studio apartment, it used to be so hot in there, in that building. Even with the window AC, it was so hot. And we would be putting together, back then we used to have to put the paper together on these boards. There wasn't no send the paste ups to through the internet. That came later. We used to have to drive it there. So we would be putting the pages together on these grids. Like this ad goes here, that story goes there. We were doing that, and we would have the door open, and we would be doing it on the floor. And our neighbor, he would open the door and be like, "What are y'all doing? Like, you think that that's gonna work?" And then years later, after success, and I'm driving around in one of my luxury vehicles, my Range Rover, and I see this guy with that "come here for the $5 pizza." And I told my wife, "Look at that, you want to go get the pizza?" And we go to turn and we go by the guy that's doing the pizza. And guess who that is? That was that neighbor. That was that neighbor who was making fun of us. We're in our 40s at that time. And he's holding this sign saying, "Go here to get a $5 pizza." And we said, "How are you doing? How are you and the family doing?" And he said that, "Well, you got divorced." "And how are the children?" "Well, they're doing okay." And I'm in the car with my wife, who I've now been with for 32 years. And I know how money can divide families, finances and issues, different things. Not to say it's all about money, but I could tell you that a stable family that has finances struggles a lot different than a family that doesn't have finances. But it doesn't fix it, but it's just a different type of struggle. So you push away those people. We pushed them away at that time. We had actually moved away from there because, number one, we were making more money. We moved into a 3-bedroom apartment. And my youngest daughter was born also. And so we had more space. And then after that, soon after, we ended up moving to the first farm that we had. So you remove yourself. Positive egos do not grow in negative environments. On this point, there can be no excuse for a compromise, and failure to observe it will prove fatal to your chances of success. You have to do it. How bad do you want success? Do you want success bad enough to tell your spouse, "Hey, you need to support me 100%. That means I don't need those comments. As long as I'm doing it." You as an individual need to take responsibility and not play around with doing what you say you're going to do. Don't be playing in it. Don't be playing around, because your spouse will say you're just playing around. But if they see you, it's not what you say, it's what they see. Stop talking about being successful and start taking action, and the people will see it. And the ones who are negative for you, they will go to the side. And the ones that are positive for you, they will come to you, and other positive people will be drawn to you. That's why there's friends that you're about to meet that you don't even know yet. You're about to meet some people that are going to come into your life, and they're going to help you, and they might disappear, and you might think that that person never existed, but you're going to know they existed because what they told you to do worked. You needed what they were going to tell you. So the next thing, the line must be clearly drawn between you and those who exercise any form of negative influence over you, that you close the door tightly against every such person, no matter what previous ties of friendship, obligation, or relationship may have existed between you. You got to do it. And reason why you might as well go ahead and do it is because you're going to end up doing it in the future anyway. There's going to be some problems between you and that individual, or those groups of individuals, or whoever that is anyways. And now when it comes to your business, with making your business, I implemented this in my business too. You don't need to have a stressful environment for your business. And I've had workers, and I would tell them, even if I have a worker, see, and this will help you with your job. This is because you might be thinking like, no company will fire a person who is a good worker. Yes, they will if they're going off of this. Because if this is not worked in the business, if this is not worked in your life, there will be a point that you will fire that individual, or that individual will get fired, because it's about team. The whole thing around this is that you can have different levels of education, different levels of financial experience, from different people, but if you have everyone on the same page, on the same team, you can work wonders. Because then what you're doing is you're just figuring it out. Like, okay, you made that mistake, but because I know you're on my team, let me just show you how we can handle this the next time. And then as long as that person accepts it and they're like, okay, yes, this is what I do. And I've done this with the credit repair company. I've done this 3 times over the years, where I've just recycled and said, this person, you're just not a good fit for the team. They're a good worker, but they're not a good fit for the team. And I remember a while back, it's been a little bit, I had made a speech at a meeting with my staff, and I said, I see some issues that we're having with customer service. It was really mainly with customer service. And I was like, we're going to fix this. And one of the people on the staff said, what are you going to do if you can't fix it? And I knew, I didn't say nothing at that time. I said, I knew right then and there that individual was not going to be with my company much longer. And about 3 weeks later, that individual was gone from our company. And the thing about it, and something that one of my employees asked me, because they'll ask me for counseling on finances, counseling on credit. I don't get into personal stuff with them, but I do counsel them on personal responsibility. And I had told one of the employees, I said, here's the crazy thing about how we are as humans. Like, we think that we're trying to avoid something when we really can't avoid it. That's why you might as well confront it, and you might as well be responsible, because when you think you're avoiding something, you're really letting it build up even bigger for confrontation. That's why you have to take the personal responsibility, and then the next thing is you have to say, how can I fix it? How can I confront this? Because I've seen where social workers, psychologists, I'm not a social worker, not a psychologist, but I can tell you they've effed up a lot of people, including I'm not gonna mention names, but certain employees from different companies that I have actually, I've had conversations with their psychologists, because I'm like, I got to know what's going on, because it's my responsibility to protect all workers. And if one individual's having some issues, I need to be aware of what's going on. And when I see the advice that they give them, it's like, man, it's crazy. Because because what it does is it makes the person think that they're not responsible for themselves. But they are responsible. There's a lot of stuff that they do that when I'm like, well, you say that you're not responsible for yourself on this, but you're doing this over here. Your ass make decisions on that. You made a decision on that, but they don't see it the same way. And I think that if people can could get people to see every decision that you make is really the same type of decision, it just looks different in your eyes, they would be able to say, I need to take full responsibility, and then I can make better decisions on what I'm doing. People make bad money decisions because they don't think they have control over their money. But they make other decisions that are good, like getting up and taking their butt to work, getting up and washing their car, getting up and feeding themselves, getting up and taking a bath. That's all the same decision, but people don't think of it as the same decision. They just think because this is automatically what I do, that my money and my credit and stuff like that, that's not the same decision. It is the same decision. It is. So I'm going to end the video here. This one here, this book, Napoleon Hill Laws of Success. And I wanted to show you this here too. Some people had saw this in one of my other videos. You see this, those are actual, what those are, that is food growing. This here is food. We've had this all winter, green beans, lettuce. My wife found this gadget, and we hadn't had to go out and buy certain vegetables because she just grows it right here in the house. The light comes on its own time, like it has its own timer, and tastes great. Well, it tastes good, but you got to get used to a different taste. I think fresh, like when you have something that's fresh, it tastes a little bit different, and it's a lot better for you. Like it has no chemicals, nothing sprayed on it, no bugs. I mean, nothing. And the same way, you know, when we lived on the farm, we would get the meat from a farmer's market where they would tell you like this was literally you know, butchered the day before. You know, it was like it had a different type of taste to it. You know, not to say that what we get from grocery stores isn't good, but you know that's a big thing now. Back then in the 90s and early 2000s, this was something that we were doing, but now people have made that into a business to get stuff like that. So I'm in the video here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your comments and questions. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my two-phase settlement process and my 8-point validation process for repairing credit. We are burning it up right now, doing very good. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, and the cease and desist collection activities letter. If you have a Gmail account, we got to make sure that we're managing that right. I'm going to be, you know, trying to see why some of the times the Gmail doesn't get delivered. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.